Hey, this is John with Alloy 211. This video is about the Beretta Model 21A. It's originally produced in 1984. It's still produced today. And I've owned this gun for quite a while. I've owned two of them. And I really enjoy shooting them. And I really like to have it because it is a very compact, as you can see, smaller than my hand, firearm. And it's really, if you say are going out to an occasion where you can't wear a holster or it's difficult to, this will fit in a jacket pocket, like a suit jacket pocket easily, cargo pants pocket, even just a regular pair of jean pockets, and it doesn't even pattern that much. And it has 7 rounds of 22. Well, this one's 22. You can get it in 25 as well. You can also get it in the stainless steel. I prefer the black, although with my original one of these, I had taken and polished the slide to a stainless look. So I had a two-tone one. I was much younger and a little silly about things then. And I'll tell you what, although this looks really nice in this blackened kind of phosphate-ish finish, if you polish this out, it does not look as nice. So there's a word to the wise. Don't try to make your blued or parkerized style finish into a two-tone finish. It's probably not going to look too great in the end. Anyway, this gun weighs 11.5 ounces. It's only about 5 inches long and 3 3/4 inches tall, which is very small. Like I said, it'll easily fit into an inside jacket pocket. And it's narrow. At the top, it's only about maybe 5/8 of an inch wide up here at the top. And it's about 1 1/8 inches wide here on the bottom, which any narrower than that, and it really doesn't fill your hand enough. And this is a small gun, but yet when you put your hand on it, it really feels like it fills it. It's a double action, single action firearm with a frame mounted safety. Up is safe, down is fire. When the safety's on, you can only cock the hammer back to half cock or quarter cock. Not sure, it doesn't really seem like half cock. But you put the safety down, you can cock it all the way, and then put the safety on if you want to carry it cocked and locked, which I personally wouldn't, because it is an extractorless pistol, which I have a video on that I'll link to at the end. But I just don't like the idea of having a round in this chamber that I cannot easily remove. And although you can tip up the barrel and dump it out, that's still iffy for me. But that's me, you know, you want to do it, you do it. The magazine release is down here. It's a button, but it's on the heel, kind of a European style, but a button. And I really like it here. If you look around, you might see a Taurus model PT 22 or the 22 poly pistol. And it's very similar to this, actually operates in the same way as this. It's blowback, unlocked, tip-up barrel. But it has the magazine release located here. And I don't really like that for the lines of the pistol or the way it sits in your hand. I wouldn't want a button there. I like it here. It's hard to bump. It's really nice, and once you get used to using it, it's not too bad. Now, I will say I've shot a lot of rounds through this gun, probably between 1,000 and 2,000. And over the course of that, I have had to change some parts. I've had to change the trigger return spring, which is down, try to get that in there, down in there. Let's pull it down here, maybe we can see a little better if I pull it down here. But it's down. Let me grab this. It's down right in here. Still kind of hard to see, but it's down there. I've had to change it twice. It's not really too bad to change. You just have to pound this pin out right here. And in the course of doing that, I went with the wider trigger, which I believe they use on their 32 and 380 model that's similar to this. The original trigger is a little less than 1/4 of an inch wide, and the wide trigger is about 5/16 of an inch, a little more than a 1/16 wider than the original. And even though it doesn't seem like a lot, it really gives it a significantly different feel, especially in double action and single action. So that's something, if I were to, I would say is an upgrade for this pistol. If it's got the narrow trigger on it, put the wide trigger on it. And maybe the newer ones do have the wide trigger from the factory. I'm not totally sure, because this is an older one. One of the neat things I wanted to show about this firearm is the recoil spring and how that works, because in order to have such a small pistol, you'll have to forgive my goofy screwdriver here, it fits these grip screws really well. So that's why I'm using it. One of the neat things about it is the recoil spring and how they did it to keep the gun so compact, and it's something you don't see on a lot of semi-automatic firearms, which is this little strut right here engages with the slide. In fact, maybe I should take this other side off too. Let's go ahead and take the other side off. Grab the right screwdriver here. There we go. Because you can't really see it on that side, that trigger bar is in the way, so I wasn't planning on taking this other side off, so I didn't loosen these up, but I'll loosen them up now. As you can see, the grips come off pretty easily, and you can also get, they have these plastic grips, and then they also have wood grips, which actually look really snazzy on here. Snazzy. Anyway, here you can see this a lot better with this grip off. It has this strut that runs up, and that is your recoil spring right there. The spring is located in this tube right here. You've got one on this side and one on this side, and it's really neat, and I really like the idea of how that works, where rather than having a linear spring underneath the slide, you actually have a vertical or angular spring here acted upon by these struts, and that's it's a neat way to keep the gun compact. I'll tip up the barrel and take out the slide and show you what that looks like. Oh, maybe. There we go. So that's something else too. When you take the grips off, this transfer bar right here can pop out really easily. So once you take the grips off, kind of use kid gloves, because there are a lot of little springs in here holding things in place, and it's not difficult to put back together, but it's definitely a pain. Now you can see there's the ejector. But what's kind of interesting about that too is generally the casing kind of just flies out because it doesn't have an extractor, but if it's stuck to the bolt face, that will knock it off. Anyway, if you look here, see, get the light on it, you can see the top of the stirrup that acts on the slide right there. I just push that transfer bar down. See, that's how that works. It just moves back linearly, and it puts pressure on this spring, which you can't really see it in there. There you go, you can see it from back there. There you go, there's the spring. And that's just a neat way to do it, I think, especially in a way to keep the firearm very small. And really, it's not very complicated either. It looks kind of complicated, but it's not. It's easy to take apart. It's pretty easy to put back together too. I've had to do that a couple times myself. If you look on the bottom of the slide here, that's where those two little stirrups engage. And again, the slide is very small, very thin. I mean, this thing is light. Weighs like nothing. So, overall, this gun, given I think I paid $180 for this used, which is, I don't find to be very expensive for such a concealed firearm. And you know, a 22 pistol cost more than that. And, put it back together in front of the camera. Oh, something else to remember. The grips have this little tab here that needs to go inside there, in between the stirrup and the frame. So you don't just stick them right on. You have to kind of get it in place. And see, look at that. I had to put that back in place again too. So like I said, be careful of that transfer bar. You don't want it to get out of whack, because it gets out of whack and it's a pain. I will say this though, the magazines, which if you watch my extractorless video, I made a point about this. They're kind of salty for a 22 7-round magazine. It's like 25 bucks. And this is a Pro Mag, I believe. I bought it several years ago, and it's not very good. I mean, if you look at it, the lips are kind of bent, but that's not because they're bent from the factory. That's because from the factory I could only ever get to feed like 4 rounds and then it would jam. And at first I thought it was the gun, but then with the factory magazine, it never did that. So then after messing with the spring and the follower and the feed lips and all that crap, I finally got it to where it will now feed 6 rounds without jamming. So I would definitely advise, if you do buy one of these firearms, don't bother buying the aftermarket magazines, which cost, when I bought that, I think it cost the same as, when I bought that one, I think it cost the same as that one. So I wouldn't bother to go at the aftermarket, just buy the Beretta magazines. And in the future, I'm going to look at trying to find another 22 magazine that dimensionally is the same as this, but is a higher capacity, and see about making it, adapting it to be used in this pistol. Just because I think that'd be neat. And sometimes you can find some of those single stack 22 magazines pretty cheap. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it informative. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you like videos like this or want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe, because I'll keep making videos as long as people keep watching them. Thanks. Have a good day.